Here we go. Well, welcome to our, I can't believe I'm saying this, October 2023 refresher webinar. I don't know what even happened to the summer. And here we are, October. So welcome everybody. And the title of today's webinar is Welcome to the Party. And you'll see what that means. But basically the theme for today is acceptance. And so part of that, I came across a couple of good meditations, but we'll start with the really quick practice that is called How to Experience the True Nature of Mind. It sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Especially for a quick practice. But let's do this, and I'll explain where I got it and a little bit of what it's about. But as an intro, this is actually the author, Mingya Rinpoche, and I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right, says that an exercise is a non-meditation. He calls it an open awareness, which is a very old Buddhist practice that takes the pressure off thinking that you have to achieve a special state. In non-meditation, we simply rest the mind without getting lost in thoughts or emotions. And that's all there is to it. So first, to begin, assume a comfortable position in which your spine is straight, your body relaxed, and your eyes gently open or closed if you prefer. Now, once you're positioned comfortably, just allow your mind to simply rest. And we're going to do this for like 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, we're just going to let the mind rest and let your mind go as though you've just finished a long and difficult task. Remember, we're not looking for a particular experience. We're simply resting. And we're aware that we're resting. That's the key. Resting in the knowing quality of awareness itself. Just rest. I'll leave some silence as we do that, just letting the mind rest. There's no special thing you have to do or focus on, just open awareness. Just rest. Now that we begin to come to a close, ask yourself, how was that experience? Don't judge it. Don't try to explain it. Just review what happened and how you felt. You might have experienced a little bit of peace or openness. That's good. Or you might have been aware of the million different thoughts and feelings and sensations. That's also good. Remember, there's no right or wrong here. So that's our first quick practice to get us started today. Open to what you thought about that. Feel free to share. You can either unmute yourself or use the chat, whichever you like. That's kind of just to get us started. So welcome again, and we'll just do a quick check-in and just see how it's going. Love to hear how your practice, whether formally or informal practices, are going and how you're doing. It's been an eventful month with outside events, right? So been a lot going on, and a lot of it is troubling, right? Very difficult things going on in the world around us. So you might be thinking, well, it's kind of an odd topic to bring up acceptance when we think about all that's going on and what we want to do to take action. And I'll be talking about that a little bit. But how are you doing? How is your practice going? Anybody have any thoughts or anything you'd like to share?
It's Corley. I just want to say this practice that we just did was so calming. I had a rough morning, and I finally was able to relax, hear the birds outside, and just felt such peace. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that feedback, and that's really good to hear. That practice is not a very grounding practice at all. A couple of you said in the chat that you felt calming awareness. This is a very timely mindfulness regrouping and reminder, and that's really the purpose of our sessions as we do these monthly. But I've been thinking about this topic for quite a while, of acceptance, and I'll explain when we get towards the end about the Welcome to the Party title. So Lauren has I'm sorry to hear this. Lost your brother unexpectedly on July 1st. I used a lot of what I've learned to get through that rough time and every day since. I'm very glad to hear that, Lori. I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing that. And it's a good reminder how these kinds of practices can, especially when we do practice them, can help us with all sorts of challenges that we go through in our lives. So that's even the very, very difficult ones. And Roberta says, it felt comforting to give myself permission to rest my mind. Yeah, and that's really what it was about. It was just resting without any instruction. It's kind of, I find it a little, not unsettling, but sometimes with just pure silence. I've been trying that more and more with some of my own meditations, just taking some time for silence and just letting, I never thought of it that way, but just letting the mind rest without any, real guidance. So it is kind of relaxing. It's kind of very calming, and, without any feelings if I should be doing this, I should be focusing on my breath, or I should be letting go my thoughts, or all those standard kinds of instructions. So maybe that's a good one to continue for yourselves going forward. Just take it a few minutes of open awareness and just let the mind rest and give ourselves a break. All right, so that was the quick practice. A couple of other things that we'll be doing. I do have a quote coming up on the next slide. The first practice, the first formal meditation is called Hope in the Everyday. And then I'm going to share something called Just One Thing from Rick Hanson about accepting difficulty. And then the last meditation is Welcome to the Party. So that's what we'll be covering today. But before I move on, any other thoughts about how it's going, or any questions about your own meditation practices or mindfulness formally or informally, or anything that anybody wants to raise? There we go, Jen. Thank you. I enjoy not thinking about any particular thought, because sometimes thoughts just bomb me. Is that what that says? Oh, something here that's in the way. And the only way to clear my mind is to think about nothing. Good. Well, and sometimes it's confusing for people in the beginning, because they sometimes think, well, meditation is about emptying the mind or not thinking. And it's really not that at all. We can't stop our thoughts. And so, as I said at the end of that first practice, you might have found some peace and some kind of open space, but you also might have found that, wow, there's an awful lot going on up there. And, that's something to be aware of as well. Just notice the variety and the many thoughts, especially on a busy day, with all the doing of the day. This is really a practice in just settling and being. So, all right. So, this is from Rick Hanson, and this is from one of his newsletters. You can sign up for them. I get them. He sends them out, I think, almost weekly. It's called Just One Thing. And actually, when I send out the slides later, I'll send out I printed out a handout from his. It's called Just One Thing, Accept Difficulty. And I pulled out this quote. And essentially what he's saying here is, well, I'll let you read the quote first. Obviously, not all difficulties are equally difficult. But people, me included, add a lot of unnecessary frustration, anger, and self-criticism, rather anxiety, I should have said, by resisting difficulty, often with an underlying attitude of, it shouldn't be this way. Try the attitude of accepting difficulty instead of getting aggravated by it. It's a lot more peaceful. So he starts off the article by saying that, sometimes things are difficult, whether it's, you're just very tired at the end of a long day and you have to stay on your feet, or you love a child these are some of his examples. You love a child who's finding her independence through emotionally distancing from you, or a long-term relationship could be losing its spark, or you're trying to start a business and it's struggling, or you've got a chronic health problem or a disability, or sometimes people don't appreciate your work, or you're feeling discriminated against or otherwise treated unfairly, or the body is aging and sags and growing weary. So those are some of the bigger difficulties, right? Plus, he points out that there are the little hassles of everyday life, that we can all relate to. You're in an airport, you can't get the Wi-Fi. Or you're at home looking for the ice cream in the fridge, in the freezer, and somebody ate the last of it. Or you're talking to your partner and realize he or she really isn't paying attention. Or you're in traffic, or the weather isn't doing what we want it to do. There's all those little things that pile up. So that's where he's pointing out that not all difficulties are equally difficult. There's this whole range of difficulties that we all deal with. And so that kind of really sets the stage for today's meditations. I'll talk a little bit more about his because all of his Just One Thing newsletters, they're really nice because they very succinctly talk about what the theme is, but then he gives you some very specific ways to practice it. It's not a meditation, but it gives you some very good guidance. And after the first meditation, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So the first meditation is called Hope in the Everyday. And if you happen to join me for today's 12 noon meditation on the phone, I did this one. So if you did join me today, this will be a repeat, but I wanted to give it a try. So here's the intro. The central paradox of meditation is we may come to practice for positive transformation for ourselves and the world. But first, we must learn to allow things to be just as they are. Genuine acceptance lays the foundation for transformation. And in mindfulness meditation, we accept the present moment for how it is, rather than insisting the experience be different. I like to think of this as learning not to be in contention with reality. Another way to say that is trusting life moment to moment. So let's try this together. And so let's begin the actual meditation by finding a position to settle in that's comfortable for you. You can close the eyes if you like, or if it feels better, and depending on where you're sitting and how you're sitting, you can keep the eyes open. If you do that, I would suggest keeping them slightly open with sort of a downward gaze down in front of you. And allow the body to soften and release tension. Allow the body to kind of give itself up to gravity and settle into the chair that you're resting on, the surface that you're on. And feel those points of contact and allow the body to be grounded through its connection with the world. Trusting life begins by trusting the body and all its sensations. Much of our stress and suffering comes from resisting our experience, pushing away what we don't like, or grasping at things we think will make it better. We're going to practice feeling our sensations without contention. So let's begin by connecting to the sensations of the body. What sensations are you feeling right now? Just kind of scanning the body, noticing whatever sensations are present, whatever they are. And you can even ask yourself, what's happening in my body right now? There's no right answer. Simply notice what's here, making space for whatever is happening. Remember, we're learning to allow each sensation as it is, simply noticing and trusting what's happening. Sometimes what we notice is the very resistance we're hoping to release. Maybe there's some tension or tightness or some discomfort in the body you don't like. And you're noticing that attitude or that thought of, I don't like this and I want to get rid of it. Or you might notice the mind is very busy or distracted. And maybe you already hear a critical voice telling you that you can't do this. Just noticing that resistance is an essential step here. So great job. Rather than being in contention with any of this, try feeling it in your body without pushing it away. Allowing everything to be here. And you can trust this too. Now, if you're feeling any tightness or resistance, try softening by taking a deep breath in through the nose and breathing out, even sighing if you like. And try asking yourself the question again, what's happening in my body right now? Perhaps you feel hot or cold somewhere, or maybe there's a part of the body that's vibrating or very relaxed. Or maybe you're noticing the breath. Whatever it is, just tune into your body in this moment. If anything feels really uncomfortable, or if you feel tension or tightening, try bringing your attention someplace neutral, perhaps the hands or the feet. And now let's try expanding the inquiry, asking what's happening in my body right now, and can I allow this experience? Can I trust this experience? If a deep inhale and exhale helps you, take a few breaths at this time and then simply return to noticing and allowing sensations. Now let's try this with the mind and see if we can bring that same awareness and acceptance to our thoughts and emotions. You can use the same type of question, asking yourself, what's happening in my mind right now? Try this on your own for a bit. What's happening in my mind right now? And can I be with this? And remember, anytime you want to kind of ground yourself, you can come back to the breath or the feeling of being connected in the body. Or take a deep breath or two. And as we finish this meditation, take an opportunity to appreciate how incredible life is. This changing cascade of sensations and thoughts and emotions. You can be aware of what's happening and learn to trust it all. How amazing is that? So you can open your eyes now if they've been closed and reconnect with your surroundings. And thanks for practicing trusting life with me and wishing you well. So that is actually a meditation by Sebene Selassie from 10% Happier called Hope in the Everyday. What'd you think? Any feedback? What was that like? And again, you can speak up or feel free to use the chat as I bring on the next slide. But a little bit different, right? We're really trying to look at what's, I guess we're trying to get comfortable with what's uncomfortable in some ways. Peaceful, relaxing, good. Calming. That's good to hear. Yes, really an exercise in your ability to trust. More relaxing, great. So this slide, appreciate the feedback, folks. This slide is from that just one thing jot, as he calls it. And I'll send it out so you have this, and you'll have the slides too. But this is kind of the practice you can apply when facing some difficulties, whether it's the bigger stuff or the smaller stuff. First step, in the moment, start by acknowledging any stress or weariness or frustration, anxiety or pain. Open to the impact on your body and mind of whatever is difficult. And let the experience be whatever it is. So kind of really doing just what we just did. And then try to step back from it and observe it. This is really an essential practice that we learn in dealing with stress, right? Rather than automatically react to it, once we're able to step back from it and kind of watch it from a little bit of a distance with a little bit of sort of neutrality or impartiality, we're able to observe it. Then we can let it flow by or flow through you or flow on out the door, and see if there is any resistance to things being difficult, and see if you can let that go. So it's recognizing when we're saying those things to ourselves, those things that, oh, I really don't like this, I can't stand when this is happening. And perhaps there's a belief deep down that life should be fulfilling, peaceful, and buffered from pain. So noticing those kinds of beliefs. This is where we really begin to look at some of the insights that we get from these kinds of meditations. Keep softening around the inherent difficulties, dealing with them as best you can, but not struggling with them. That's the difference. We're not fighting against them. We're not trying to change things. Now, this might seem counterintuitive. There are things that we might want to change. So I think that's the paradox. In the meditation, in these practices, we're trying to accept things as they are. Doesn't mean that you can't then move forward with some of that insight into, yeah, I would like to change this way that I react to things or this way that I believe about things. And it might even bring some action into mind about some of the bigger things that we're dealing with in the world around us, and some things that maybe you want to do in response to some of those very difficult things that are going on. Fourth step is, as appropriate, try on the attitude, I signed up for this. Not to blame yourself for things that have happened to you or to discount your stress or weariness, but to establish yourself in a relationship of choice toward whatever is difficult. So that's the practice that he suggests. I'll send it out. I see there's a couple of chats here. These are in response, I think, to that last meditation. Good. I enjoyed it. Been having some physical issues, constraints in recent months, and enjoyed the meditation and opportunity to focus on it with a different perspective. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely relate to that. I've had some physical issues myself. Some days are harder than others. I've done this on my bike, by the way. And actually the last meditation I've used specifically while riding and being a little bit uncomfortable, say with going up hills or with traffic or with whatever it is, and trying to bring some acceptance to that. Then Roberta says, I observed my cool hands. I was using a roller for my feet and the sensations. Okay. And I also accepted my tension in my neck and stretched to feel better. Good. Yeah. See, there's that acceptance, yet doesn't mean you can't stretch it out and make it feel a little bit better. That's a good example of taking some constructive action after the acceptance. So thank you for those comments. All right, so this last meditation is called Welcome to the Party. And this is one that I mentioned that I actually used while riding a bicycle. So it's not so much a you can use it sitting and closing your eyes and being still as that kind of a meditation. But you can use this just going through life, whatever you're doing. You could use it in, backed up traffic, or, standing in a long line waiting to be checked out, or, whatever it is. But I found it to be a very helpful practice to, again, just accepting things as they are and actually welcoming things. So this, again, is based on a meditation from 10% Happier by Jeff Warren. And So he says the whole principle to this welcome to the party practice is that everything and everyone is welcome. There is no secret biases or preferences happening. Whatever happens is welcome, including your most neurotic judgments and unholy feelings and seething resentments. All are perfectly welcome. You are an affable host. So happy to see you, you might say. Welcome to the party of my direct experience. So let's get this party started. So we'll start in the usual way. We'll take a couple of nice deep breaths, long breath in and long breath out, allowing the body to settle on the exhale. Again, you can close the eyes or keep them open if you prefer. Adopting that way of sitting and being wherever you are that's best, most comfortable for you. You could even be walking, I suppose, or eating, or riding a bike, or whatever during this kind of an exercise. But just allowing ourselves to settle a little bit as we get started in the usual way. The key to this is we're going to sort of bring the attitude of not getting uptight about anything. Everything is welcome. So if you're a breath person, start with the breath, zooming in and just feeling the sensations. If it helps and you like to use a little bit of noting, you can do that, noting in on the in breath, out on the out breath, or you can use words like calm and ease as you breathe in and out, or rising and falling if that helps. Or you can also use the body as your anchor. So if that's preferable anchor, you can feel the body anchored in the chair, your feet on the floor. So your choice, whatever is your kind of your home base. Just trying to enjoy the full feeling of this, committing to the sensations of breathing or the sensations of your body. And at this point, if the mind moves into thinking, just bring it back to the breath or to whatever sensation you're working with. So here's the fun part. There's one more mental note you can use. Actually say to yourself, welcome to the party in your head. So whenever you get pulled into a thought or get distracted, say, welcome to the party. You're co-opting the problem here. So welcome the insistent thought, the annoying sensation, the distracting sound, and then return to noticing the breath or your home base sensations. There are no enemies in this practice, no problems, only new things to notice and to welcome. So your attention is on the breath or other body sensation. Welcome to the party, an irritating sound. Welcome to the party. Nothing is not welcome. You are an affable party host. And know that it's okay to fake your welcoming attitude. Welcome your fakery. your suspicion. Explore how this attitude affects the tone of your meditation. If your mind wanders, welcome the fact that your mind wandered and go back to the breath. Okay, so you're primarily staying with breath or other sensation, but you've got this welcoming attitude, allowing everything to be there. If you like, we can experiment with a slightly wider expanse. Let go of your focal attention on the breath and expand your awareness to include sounds that are coming and going, and also a wider sense of space around you. The space above you, behind you, in front of you, to the sides. And you can mentally note to yourself when you notice that sounds or space, just keep your attention on that wider experience. Kind of let your mind get big and soft. Welcome your big, soft mind to this party. Just letting the mind rest, kind of like we did in that first exercise. And if you feel that this broader focus is hard to maintain, at any time you can return to the breath. The idea is to explore what happens when we expand the scope of our welcoming. All sounds and sensations are welcome. All of it rising and falling in the expanse of your awareness. Welcome to the party, you say to anything you happen to notice. Sounds, space around you, thoughts, emotions, opinions, commentary, anything that's going on, aware of it all. And when you're ready, you can bring your awareness back into the body. Feel the breath, the contact with the ground. Let's rest here a moment or two. Just open awareness, just letting the mind rest. And then when you're ready, slowly open your eyes as we finish. Welcome to the party. And thank you for joining me in that practice. Wonder what that was like for you. So you might even just check in with yourself and kind of asking yourself, what was that experience like? These are somewhat different kinds of practices, but ones that you might try going forward. As I mentioned, you can try these in a variety of different settings. Let's see what you think of it. But any feedback, anything that you'd like to share? You know what you think about that practice? Feel free to put into the chat, or as we do, I'll remind you about the phone meditations. We're still doing these 5 days a week. Yes, a new tool. Yes, thank you, Jim. So yeah, the meditation, phone meditations are still going on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2. So good. Couple more good comments. Thank you. Really enjoyed that one. Very relaxing. That's good. So relaxed, I almost fell asleep. All right. New methods are so refreshing. Yeah, that's what I try to bring some new stuff to these. I like the open awareness technique. Yeah. Help me to accept whatever was coming up. And you said, welcome to the party. I felt a smile come to face. Good. Yeah. Going to try that new practice in different situations. Yeah, do try that. I encourage you. As I said, I found that very helpful in some of my bike rides but other kinds of things. It's kind of like I found myself sort of like having to catch myself if I get, sort of annoyed with something, one of those little difficulties that we talked about. But you have to remind yourself, and you have to kind of actively say that to yourself, welcome to the party. And it does kind of bring a smile to the face. It does bring a little more accepting attitude, even just being aware that it's something that you're bugged about. So thank you, Lori, for that comment. I appreciate that. I appreciate you all being here. Certainly very much. I wouldn't be able to do these without you. Also, reminder about our app from our EFR program, the M Life app. You can still sign up for that. Right now, it's the sign-up process. If you ever have trouble, just email me. But you can sign up on our Achieve Solutions site. There's the link there. It's actually going to be changing in a couple of weeks, but it'll be redirected to a new homepage with a new, they're calling it the digital front door of our EFR program, which is where you'll be able to access any of the EFR services. And they're trying to make it a lot more easy to navigate. So once we start that in a couple of weeks, if you do try and check any of it out, please let us know what your experience was. Would love to get your feedback on that. Yep, a couple more good comments here. Thank you. Welcome to the party. Looks like a good tool to work with annoying and difficult situations. Exactly. Sending gratitude and appreciation. Appreciate you too, Roberta, and all of you for being here. I'll leave you with this last couple of slides. We have, again, that site is going to change, but we're still going to have all the guided meditations. I've got them. I don't know if you guys visit these, but I've got actually over 30 meditations on this site. So that's one place where these new ones are not on there, but I have a lot of other ones on there. If I record some of the newer ones, I'll post them, but you can always get these on the recording that I send out. I will send out the link to the recording, and I do post them on the YouTube channel so that they're always there. And there's other apps, as I know that some of you use, some of the other ones like Insight Timer, 10% Happier, and Healthy Minds. So the last slide is about our EFR program. So thank you all so much. Thank you all for the thanks. I appreciate those comments very much. And any last questions or thoughts before we close out for today? Can't believe our next one will be in November. We'll be approaching Thanksgiving, so maybe we'll do something on gratitude or something like that. But if you have any thoughts or suggestions for anything you'd like me to do some of these on, I'm always open to your suggestions, so let me know. And again, thanks for being here. Appreciate your presence. Thank you all very much, and have a great rest of your day, and enjoy the beautiful fall weather while we have it, and take good care.
Thanks, Bud.
Appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.